Hello Tubesters, it's Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. Again, just a pop-up vid. I just wanted to show off these Empress Miniatures Volkesgrenadiers. I presume I'm saying that right. World War II German infantry, in other words. I've got to obviously base them yet. I'm going to probably put these on 20mm bases just because I'll probably sell a bit better than my usual 30mm with all the, go to town on the bases. I would like to, but a lot of these are painted a lot of these are gamed in, with 20mm bases. So obviously AMG 42 gunner. They're like semi-winter. We've got balaclavas on them and pullovers and stuff. A couple of things I haven't done. Again, looking through the viewfinder of the camera, I haven't put the belt buckles on the Zeltbahn. Zeltbahn is this rolled up camouflage here. That's a poncho we call in the British Army. So a tent quarter, and if you stitch them all together, you've got a full tent for a section, or for 4 blokes anyway. Got entrenching tool. I try and get the bread bags. That's the blue bit there. They came in so many different colours. I've given the trousers on these this like bluey green colour. I'd seen a whole host of, when people put because there's always this, you get the people saying, oh, they should be this colour, they should be that colour for German infantry uniforms, and as it's been shown so many times, there's 1,000,001 dye colours, and I picked this particular green out. Again, there's no name to it. I just look at it and then replicate it with paint. This is actually, I think they call it Lizard Man Green. It's an AK colour, and then I've just added bits of blue to it and stuff to give it a bluer look. Same with the gaiters or the anklets. Gaiters on here. They were all sorts of colours, bluey green, like a lighter green, what do they call it, but like a very light sandy brown, and every colour in between. So that's our one bloke. I decided to give the butts on these the same, more or less the same colour as the rifles, the Kar 98 rifles that they've got. Here's his number 2. I left the chip in the ammo box in the end. I'd forgot completely to put a bit of filler in there. I don't think it detracts it that much. These, if you don't know, these are reversible, these camouflage jackets, and they also come with the trousers. I'll show you in a minute. I'm doing the Panzerfaust, not Panzerfaust are they? Panzerschreck guys, the anti-tank guys. I'm giving some of them full camo, but these guys I wanted a bit of a difference. So you'll just see the whitey grey, because they went quickly, obviously from a stark white to an off grey really, with wear. But you could do these either. You could have these in winter, so you could have the grey, or you could do a camouflage trousers in this colour and then a white top. It's you see them in the wall photographs. You see so many different types. Again, I just do odds and sods a bit different. So like this one's got the bluey grey canteen cover. They could be a lot darker than that. Again, they could be brown. By mid-war to late war, Germany was in such straits for materials and stuff. There were so many differences. I really like them. As I say, Paul Hicks again, he works his magic with the old sculpting tool. Really nice. I think somebody else does the weapons, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it's somebody else does the weapons. Again, I've mixed up the MG 42's personal sidearm holster. Some have brown. There's brown, black. Again, there's 1,000,001 colours. I do the Zeltbahn, and it always appears to me between a lighter grey, rock grey, to a very, well, you'll see one in a minute. He's actually wearing one. I've actually given that a slightly more green tint to it. I've made the helmet cover just a very slightly different to the jacket, not much in colour, the base colour that is. And then and I put the little studs on. You couldn't not put the little studs on the boots. And then we've got his number 2. Now I've noticed, as I said before, this reason and it opens like that far is it's used as a feed tray for the MG42. Now I don't know if they did it all the time in the war, but I just remember reading up on it a few years ago. But they have got the belt poking out under his elbow there, but I'd be more inclined, well, it depends where they go actually. I'm not sure if he doesn't he'd be going that way, so he'd probably have to go that way, but normally I say that lid is actually used as a feed tray. But yeah, lovely figures, really nice. I haven't put any type of helmet decals on. Well, not, there wouldn't be decals, as in I'd paint them on, but if it was a Waffen-SS one, I'd probably do some form of little embellishments on there where it's the runes or the national flag. They seem to have them on more than the mid-war, late-war German infantry did, because a lot of times the helmets were painted over that much. I've done a tiny little eagle. I went for that again with the Feldmutz. I think it's a Feldmutz. So the side cap here, there's like a stitched on badge of an eagle. I'm gonna put 2 little white metal button things on there. Gave him black binos, but you could do them in Dunkelgelb if you wanted to change them up. But doing him Dunkelgelb with, and he's already got that type of base camouflage and that, it probably would all merge in one. But yeah, really nice, like them. So they've got to have a varnish this afternoon, well, the first varnish. I'm getting on with these. This is the Zeltbahn that's rolled up on their backs. As you can see, he's wearing it as a camouflage, which they often did early war, but there was still, obviously, if there was a lack of camouflage material, they'd wear them still in the late war like that. If you're wondering what's going on with his helmet, what I do with the helmets, it's a trick from painting large scale busts and that. So I just take any colours that I've got on the palette. In this case there was pinks. I was painting Games Workshop last night, but 40k. But there was pinks and reds, purples, and that. It's called underpainting. So I just splodge that over the top. Then I get the thin down the colour of the helmet. So we've got one of these guys here. This has all been. You can't really see it, and it's debatable whether it's really you could really bother doing it with it on 28mm figures. It's just an experiment. I liked how it went. I then apply some darker blues and that just to give some definition to the helmet afterwards. But yeah, just splodge some of that on, and then put your top colour over the top, and it should bleed through slightly. It sometimes takes, if you've used a thin down paint, take you a couple of coats, but it'll give you that. What happens is with the steel painted helmets, you get like a mottled effect on them. As I say, at this scale, is it really noticeable? It is actually when you look up close to it. But obviously, if you're gaming with them, it's just an added little touch I do. I've given this guy. It was like I was looking at some of the Osprey artwork, and it was like again the dye was like a greeny brown colour. It was almost like the Labour Corps. If you've ever seen I know all this, but with my smashed head I can't pull it out of my head. But the Reich Labour Corps had that type of uniform. Whether it it's passed over to these guys or it was originally that, I don't know, but I'm sticking with that anyway. It's like it's this colour anyway. Giving him some more brighter green, which I will actually scuff up with some dirt later on. But these brighter green canvas anklet boots, to go over his ankle boots, I should say. So there's that. This is the guy I'm mainly working on at the moment. Bit of pitting in the metal. That's the trade-off you get with metal. Sometimes you can get that type of stuff. It's not particularly over bothering me. So that's like a German, what they call a German grey, standard Vallejo type German grey. But then I'm putting greens and blues into it just to, and probably one final highlight after that. And he'll have a helmet cover on. And I've given him the sandy type coloured anklets. We haven't really got much further, I don't think, with these guys. Again, you can see the splodges there. There will be another top coat going over these yet. That's a bit too, it's showing through a bit too much. It's up to you how far you go with it. Well, up to me. I don't think anybody else will bother doing it. As I say, when it's on the tabletop, you won't see them. It's just a bit of difference. I've given these a very slight drill out in the end, and I did the other one. In fact, it was actually this one I did, yeah. But you could do really with taking them. I just didn't want to damage the figure anymore and have to do any more repriming. But really, you could go to town drilling that out a bit more. It's a shame I've got different reamers, but they're as in for putting on the Dremel, but they're just slightly too big for this pipe. So yeah, not going. It's just what colours I have in the palette at the time. So I'll think, yes, I might use that base colour for a entrenching tool handle, but then I'll put it as a brown on there, but then change the brown, because what you don't want is using, well, it's up to you, but it's using the same colour for everything. So if you've got brown type handles, you don't want to, it'll just look it'll look like you've gone round. You're trying to make, well, I try and make my figures individuals. They are little people to me. Yeah, I know I've got a smashed head, but I just mean, they become little people once the paint's on them. So I try and make them all as if, like these guys here are going through Festungsstätten, Kustrin, on the east, or these could be in the Ardennes or northern France, in Colmar Pocket maybe, or on the Rhine waiting for the crossing, Hutgenwald, you name it, But yeah, it's I'm really impressed with the figures again. As I've said, a word of caution on them is that they have some very, very fine mould lines on them. They've got to have mould lines because they're in a mould, but they can be hard to see sometimes. So you may have to be prepared to put your primer on them, and have to then go, oh, blooming heck, I'll moderate my language, and take a scalpel and re-scrape something, and then in that case I don't re-prime by my airbrush. I just get some, as I've showed you before, some Vallejo brush on primer and put that on to cover that area. But that's the only downside of them. As I say, they've got to have mould lines, and it's up to you. Would you prefer great big chunky wall of china mould lines, or thin, easy removable ones? And they are really easy to remove. It's just seeing them. So if you're getting old fart like myself, you might want to put a pair of extra, then I've got a pair that I use occasionally, magnifiers that I clip on, just to make sure you've got. There's a couple on here that I haven't, and I've sometimes you can get away with it and paint them in as creases, and there's a couple of tiny little ones that I would have either damaged I didn't want to damage the area that they were in anymore. So yeah, there we go. Sorry for waffling away there. I'm just giving you some thoughts on it, really. So yeah, these are going to be under the first coat. I usually varnish these on the milk bottle tops first, or if I've put them on bases and then stuck them to milk bottle tops. But whatever way, I give them a varnish, and then once I've done the base work, which if I go for 20 mils on these, which I probably will do, there's hardly any, I can't do a lot with them. We'll have to see. but then I give them a second coat after that. So I've got some more Napoleonics coming. Those cuirassiers have been varnished today. They had to be held back, but they're going to be varnished today, and then they go through the basing process. So I've I've got some more Napoleonic plastics. I tend to, with the Napoleonics, I tend to do them in plastic, mainly for the cost for me. It's if I can't sell them on metals, I wouldn't be surprised if metals don't get phased out over the next few years. Only I like painting metals. I've got no problem painting metals. It's just the price is just getting uneconomical for, I would have thought, for anybody gaming, unless you're going to do skirmish games like, where you've got a few like the World War II figures. But to buy ranks and Napoleonics in metal now is getting really, really expensive. And me, I am collecting my Prussians to eventually game them, hopefully. But I just buy them, as you know. It'll take me years for that project to get anywhere near complete. But metal 28 mils now, it's getting hellishly expensive, and to try and sell them as somebody like myself who paints and sells, if I get stuck with a unit, everything I sell gets reinvested to buy another unit. So if I'm stuck with a unit on my hands that I can't sell, it's a bit of a pointless exercise, really, because I can't get the next one behind him. So that's why I see mainly Napoleonic plastics. And I'd be probably the same with ancients, things like that. If I was selling them as a unit, I need to sell them, if that makes sense, and not have them stuck in my drawers, because I do sometimes units won't sell, and I just have them in the drawer for over a year, waiting to and I'll try and resell them a couple of times. So anyway, I'm waffling. So look after yourself. So there is a couple of unboxings. There's a model unboxing coming up when it arrives. It's dragging its feet. I'm waiting on. I will give you a look at the Stummel probably over the next couple of days. That's, as I say, that's all painted. It needs to have a couple of other little bits done to it. Maybe a bit of camouflage, I'm not sure. But I'm waiting for a crew for that. It's not the actual. They're not. I'll show you when it comes through. It's not the actual crew for a Stummel or for any other armoured vehicle, actually. But I'm going to chop and change them very slightly just to get them to fit in that tiny cramped compartment. And then but I may, because that's going to take obviously an extra few days to paint them up and prime them and convert them slightly. I'll probably just show you the Stummel as it is for now until I can get the crew on. I'm getting I'm painting along to. I've got the thing here. This guy here. It's taking ages because it's just taking ages because I'm having to paint it all in separate pieces, as otherwise I wouldn't get to things. So he's at a stage where he's almost ready to at least get stuck together and then do the last finishing touches and then create a base for him. So he'll be up at some stage, and then I will launch the. I said to myself, once he's painted, I just wanted to say in my other channel, hey, this is what I do, but it's no point if you've got nothing to show. So that's why that channel, it's not one of Gav's, I'm going to do this and then don't do it. It's just a case of it's taking some time. I've got I'll show it. Well, I won't go into that now. I've got something else to show as well, painting related. I haven't gone off the modelling ships. As I say, I've made the big is the big Vince, and that's not happening. It will happen. I'm just trying to, as usual, I say I want to get that Lancer out of the way. I'm just trying to. This type of work is paying work, and I need to. So I'm just talking to a black card here. I need to get. I need to pay bills, or help pay bills. So, something's got to give. I've got a ton of stuff. I just can't do everything at once as I try to do. So for the minute, this is paying work. Well, hopefully it pays. so yeah, same with the cuirassiers and stuff. So something's got to give. I will be selling like the Autark. Well, I might not keep the Autark actually. I'm not sure yet. But like the Space Wolf that I painted, he'll be up for sale soon. Because again, painting him gives me a chance then to reinvest in another Warhammer figure for the new channel. You know, if that makes sense, that'll be paid to reinvest and just to have different things to paint on that channel. So yeah. Anyway, going around in circles. When do we not? Look after yourselves, and thank you very much for listening to my waffle. And I'll catch you soon on another video. Cheers.